What is going on, guys? The NHL betting market for January the 23rd, 2021. We're going to start off with the Lightning Blue Jackets market. And what's awesome about starting off with this game, unfortunately for you guys, the game has already started. But what is nice about that is that we actually get to take a look at the final market. So we get to see 1,475 bets, which is more so than usually the markets that we do see. Like the 7 p.m. Eastern time start is still 4.5 hours away from this recording. Senators, Jets, 945 bets, already a lot of bets, but that's a 10 p.m. Eastern time start, so that's 7.5 hours away from starting. So it's fun to get to see a game like the Lightning Blue Jackets that is already underway. Because you guys get to see what a closing market would look like. So 1,475 bets at 2 p.m. Eastern time, 11 a.m. Pacific time start over here on the West Coast. But the Lightning open minus 170. They've been bet up to minus 172. 63% of bettors were on Tampa, 62% of the money on Tampa. So very, very slight amount of exposure on the Lightning. But to be honest, this is quite an even market. They're pretty much making back the vig on either side, no matter who wins. Not a ton of exposure there on the money line, but the puck line tells a different story. If the Lightning do win by 2 or more, the line went from plus 142 to plus 154. 54% of the money on the Lightning, 96% of the money, 54% of bettors, and 96% of the money is on the Tampa Bay Lightning to win by 2 or more goals. So that is quite a bit of exposure on the Tampa Bay Lightning to win by 2 or more. So the books are definitely cheering for a 1-goal win from Tampa or an outright win from the Columbus Blue Jackets. Let's take a look at the OU market. 5.5 it opened at. Juice was on the over at minus 117. And then the juice wildly swung to the under to minus 114. So just a wild swing on the OU juice. It looks like sharp bettors, because 28% of the bets were on the under, but the money finished at 49%. So it looks like sharp bettors were on the under, pushing that juice from minus 117 or plus 102 to minus 114 at close. It doesn't really matter too much to the books who wins that OU, because it's just a public versus sharp market as far as the bet percentage and money percentage is concerned. But equal amount of money was put on the over and the under. So they don't really care where that game finishes. They just need to make sure that the Lightning do not win by 2, because paying out 96% of the money, anywhere from plus 142 to plus 154, would be most likely a loss or like a very, very break-even play for the books overall in this game. On to the Canadiens Canucks game, a 7 p.m. Eastern time start. These Canadian Canuck games have been very high-scoring affairs. I think it was 6-5 in a shootout the first game for the Canucks. And then we had a 7-3 road win for the Montreal Canadiens. So 11 and 10 goals respectively. I believe those are two of the top 3 results this year as far as total goals. 794 bets so far in this game. The Canucks open plus 128. They've been bet down to plus 126. So not a ton of line movement. Also, the bet percentages, 44% on the Canucks. 48% of the money is on the Vancouver Canucks. So at plus 126, 48% of the money. The books are taking a little bit of exposure here on the Canucks money line. Let's take a look at the puck line to see if it tells a different story. So the Canadiens are actually the favorites on the road here, minus 1.5 at plus 156. They've been bet up to plus 165. So the line has pushed in favor of the Canucks, despite, 88% of bettors have bet the Canucks at this plus 1.5 mark, but 57% of the money is on the Montreal Canadiens puck line. So if the Canadiens do win by 2 or more, the books would have to pay out 57% of the money, either at plus 156, anywhere up to plus 165. So the books are definitely taking exposure on the Canadiens puck line. But again, they're taking exposure on the Canucks money line, and there might be a lot more money bet on the money line. So it's kind of hard to say here for sure. My guess is that the money is actually split quite evenly between the two. I think the OU market for this game is really interesting, considering I just said their games, this is their third game in however many days. 10 goals, 11 goals, or 11 goals, and then 10 goals. And then the OU opened at 6.5 with juice on the under at -112. The OU actually pushed down half a goal to 6. So it's currently sitting at 6 with -117 juice on the over. So it's interesting to see that the line has moved down towards the under, and the under 6 goals at +104, 24% of bettors. However, 86% of the money has been put on the under. So it looks like sharp bettors are on the under. The books are a little bit worried. They pushed that under down from 6.5 to 6. But it is very interesting because I got a feeling a lot of public bettors are going to probably jump in on this over 6 goals at -117, considering their first two games were such high scoring affairs. But it looks like sharp bettors are on the under for this one. So who knows, maybe there's been some coaching adjustments or just better overall defensive play to cut down those chances in front and limit the scoring chances and goal opportunities. So an interesting game to keep your eye on for the OU in the Canadiens Canucks matchup tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern. On to the Bruins Flyers game, 870 bets so far. Flyers open at +141, dogs on the money line on the road. They've been bet down to +133, 55% of bettors and 30% of the money has been bet on the Flyers. So very interesting to note here that despite 70% of the money coming in on the Bruins as medium favorites, 60% favorites, they do still have 70% of the money. So the books are taking slight exposure here on the Bruins money line, which is interesting to note. Let's take a look at the puck line. It might tell a different story, and it doesn't. They are also taking exposure here on the Bruins, just like the money line. The money line moved in the Flyers' favor. The puck line has moved in the Flyers' favor as well at +1.5 point underdogs on the road, -169, bet up to -188. 58% of bettors. However, only 50% of the money is on the Flyers. So the books are taking exposure on the Bruins on the money line and the puck line, signaling to me that with the line movement for the Flyers, we have a reverse line movement, which makes me like the Flyers in this one, either on the puck line or the money line. I'd probably lead towards money line just because I would prefer to get paid out at +133 rather than the -188. But like I said, in the NBA, I do have that calculator. Once we get a bigger sample size of NHL games, I'll probably create the same calculator in the NHL to find out, is it better value to bet the Flyers money line at +133, or is it better to bet the Flyers puck line +1.5 at -188? Those are questions that we will be able to answer very shortly, and those are questions that we'll be able to help out with people who are YouTube members. So click the join button below if you're interested. It's only $5 a month to join, and we have a Discord channel that is just awesome. There's so many very interesting people with very nice insight on betting all the major sports, including motorsports, UFC, boxing, and every other major sport. Very interesting guys to follow. On to the OU for this game. It opened at 5.5. The over was at -104. The over has been bet up. It's still at 5.5, but the juice has pushed up to -114. 86% of bettors are on the over. However, only 46% of the money is on the over. So very interesting market there. The money split pretty evenly, but it looks like public bettors are all over the over in this one, and that OU has pushed up as far as the juice is concerned. Nothing there that stands out that I would love to bet, but it's just an interesting market to see that so much of the public is on the over for this game, despite the money being quite even. Like the actual bet and money percentages shows me that sharps are on the under, but the line movement shows me the books are a little bit worried about people betting the over. So it's that's a very peculiar market. On to the Kings Blues game, 567 bets. This is one of the rare games where we don't actually have a money percentage for the money line, but the money line It hasn't moved in favor of the Kings, but the juice has come down on the Blues to minus 201, signifying a small advantage towards the Kings early on. 77% of bettors are on the Blues. This is to be expected. They are big favorites. At minus 201, you'd expect it to be around 66% of bets or 66% of the money to break even. So the only thing we can read in is that there's a tiny bit more people betting the Blues, thinking they will win, despite the books setting their line at about 64-66% chance to win that game when you include or when you knock off that juice. Let's take a look at the puck line. Surprisingly, on the puck line, we have the money percentages. So the line has moved heavily in favor of the Kings on the puck line, from plus 1.5 at minus 130 up to plus 1.5 minus 159. 60% of bettors, but only 39% of the money on the Kings. So very interesting to note that despite 61% of the money being bet on the Blues to win by 2 or more, that line has moved from the Blues at plus 116 up to plus 143, which signifies to me that the books are trying to get a lot more people to bet the Blues to win by 2 or more, because that line at plus 143 is so much juicier than the line at plus 116. So that's very interesting to note. That's a heavy reverse line movement, albeit only 567 bets in this game, and there just might not be enough money to really make a difference at all. But that is just such a large line movement on a puck line. Plus 116 to plus 143. That's very interesting to me that the books have moved the line that much, and they are encouraging people to bet the Blues that much, because eventually there's going to be buyback. But the weird thing is that there's way more money on the Blues. 61% of bets to pay out at plus 143. That's a very fishy line, and I've got my feelers up on that one. And then the last game of the night, 10 p.m. Eastern time start, 945 bets, which is a healthy amount of bets for this late game. Senators Jets open minus 132, bet up to minus 153. 57% of bettors on the Jets. However, 73% of the money has been placed on the Senators money line, anywhere from plus 118 to plus 138. So we do have a rare reverse line movement for a favorite, that is the Jets, going up to minus 153 favorites, despite only receiving 27% of the money. And the reason why is it might be the puck line. As you can see here, the Jets open at minus 1.5 goal favorites at plus 171. It's been bet down to plus 159. Only 8% of bettors are on the Jets to win by 2 or more, but 64% of the money. So that might be a very respected 64% of the money on the Jets puck line, which is very interesting to note. And that puck line might be why the money line has moved in favor of the Jets as well, despite the Senators receiving so much money. So we can't say fully for sure if this is a reverse line movement. If you just looked at the money line market, you'd say, oh, 100%, that is a reverse line movement big time. But when you include the puck line, we are not sure what the handle is on both sides. So you do have to make some assumptions. And if we are making those assumptions, maybe it's just better to stay away. Onto the OU, it opened at 6, still at 6. The juice has moved slightly in favor of the under, which is interesting to note, despite the juice not moving for the over. There's really not a lot to gain out of the juice move either way. But 29% of bettors on the under, 38% of the money on the under. So this signifies to me that sharp bettors are on the under in this game, since the juice has moved in favor of the under, and the percentage of bets and the money percentages are contrarian plays for the under in this game. Well, guys, that is it for the NHL betting market for January the 23rd. As always, join the Discord, join the membership. It's only $5 a month. It helps out the Fat Guy and I a lot, and we get to pass on all the cool things that we find using all of this data. So feel free to join, and you're more than welcome to click that link and find the Discord channel once you do join, and there is great conversation in there. Looking forward to seeing you guys in there, and good luck in your January 23rd wagers for the NHL games.